All right, welcome to this episode. Previously, we were able to create this login page and also this account creation page. The only thing that is working here is this account creation page. Our sign-in page is not working because we have not designed the logic for that. So, going by this, you can see this is the only thing we have. We have set up a sign up page. This is what we did. We did sign up. This is a form itself. And in the form, we have the input field for username, the input field for email, and the input field for password. So these are the three things we are able to capture. And from the views, you can see that we have queried the form to grab all the information, username, email, password. And there is there's a particular user model we have in our model, Django. And now we're able to import that from this line here. From Django.contrib.auth.models, import user and then auth. So, and then we also imported Django.contrib.auth, import authenticate, login, and logout. So we can do it with this line, and this line too can actually do the whole logic for us. But let's leave it as it is. So what we want to do now is that we want to continue with the sign in and also the logout page. So for us to do that, let's get on to work. Alright, so we need to build a logic that will be able to do that will be able to sign in for whoever user that actually wants to log in. Let me bring up, okay, the sign in is here. Let's close this sign up page. Now we are in the sign in page, which is the index page, and we have two things. I actually wanted us to use email to do the login, but there's an issue with logging in with email. But let's try it. Then before we change back to username, let's see if that will still work. So let's try that. Now that we have this, let's go back to the server is already running actually. So now if I remove this, I have email and I have this password. So let's go and query this and build the logic. So we're going to go to the view page, and in the view we are going to go down below this sign up right here, and then we are going to create a function. We're going to call it sign in, and then we pass a request right here now. We are going to return the template, return render, and we are returning the template that we have built for this, and that is sign in. Yes, that's actually working though. Yeah, it's already here, so we don't actually need this. Because I wonder how it's going if we don't have this. So it's already here working. So what we need to do now is that we want to know if the user actually click on this sign in page. So let's just query that. And what we need to do is that if we want to zoom this a little bit. Okay, fine. We close this one. So we're going to do if request dot method. So the method we used here is what we call post. We use post method, posts. Okay, and then colon. Now from the form here, you can see that we have a method here, which we have set to be equals to post. That's what we are using it right here. If request dot method equals to post, then what do? We have actually passed on variables. The variables we pass here is email, and also we also have a variable called password. So those are the two variables that we have passed. So let's go back to the views.py. Then we can do email equals to requests dot post. Okay, and then email. So we can also do request.post.get. It's still okay, it's going to work. Then we also have password equals to requests dot post. Let's do dot post dot get. That will still work. Dot post dot get. Right here, we do a bracket there and do password, just like this. Then once that is done, that means that we are grabbing these two values. So now after this line, we are going to set our user variable. As we are creating a variable for the user that wants to log in, and set that equals to the user object we have dot. We are going to make use of that auth. The auth we have passed, that we have actually imported. So is equal to the auth dot then authenticate. We want to actually authenticate this particular user. We want to check the credentials that this particular user is actually submitting. So we have email equals to email, and also the password inside the database is set to be equal to the password that is being entered by the user. So just like this. Now if this is done, we want to be sure that this user exists in the database. So we're going to do if user is not known. So if the user is not known, that is, if the user exists inside the database, then we are going to log in this user. So we're going to do auth dot login, and then we are going to pass the request and then the user. So once this is done, we can actually redirect the user to the login page, to the dashboard. But we have not created the dashboard, but let's try and just say return redirect, and let's redirect this particular user to, let's just say we are using the login page. Let's say sign up page, and after that we'll be able to create our dashboard. So let's see if everything works fine here. So let's go back to our browser. I think the browser should have stopped by now, so probably okay. Let's rerun this server. Okay, the server is running again. Let's refresh this page and let's try to log in. Now we have an issue. Type object user has no attribute auth. Okay, and that's happening on line, okay, it's happening line 11 readers. Okay, this is the views, line 11. So let's check what we have on line 11. This line 11. Okay, we said user got to. Okay, now like I said before, the email we use is actually causing this particular error. So I need to change this to username. So let's change this to username and try this again. Username, and here also I'm going to change this to username. And also let's go back to the index page and change this to email. Change the email to username. Okay, yeah. Okay, username. And the placeholder here, let's change it to enter your username. Okay, let's try this and let's check the views again and ensure that we have our username. Okay, fine. So let's try this again. I hope the server is still running. Okay, so it's still running. Let's refresh again. Let me try to log in. Okay, I think we are still having the same issue. Line 11, type user does not have this auth. Okay, I will return it back to email now that I know that's not the cause of this issue. So line 11, user equals to, okay, all right, user is equal to user dot authenticate. I got an issue there. user equal to auth dot authenticate. This is the point here. So I made an error here. So we are going to remove this here. So we're going to do user equals to auth dot authenticate. That's actually where I made a mistake. So that has been corrected now. So let's go back and refresh this page. I'm still returning to the index page, which is the login page, and I will change this back to email just to be sure. Probably I can log in with email. Let's return this email. So we'll refresh this page and let's try this again. So okay, yeah, John, I have John at gmail.com and the password is John. Let's try this. Okay, so it's returning me back to this login page. Let's try again. We are back on this page here. Let's try this again, but we have seen that the error has been corrected from the view line 11 where we are doing user equal to user.10k. So this is the right way to actually query that line. User equals to auth.authenticate, then we pass that email equals to email, password equals to password. So let's try again to log in with the email. So we have John at gmail.com and the password John. Okay, so we are having the same issue. Now I told you before that it may not accept me using email. So let's go back to the index page and change this back to username, and then I'll change this to enter your username. I need to go back to the views page and change this also back to username, and where we are authenticating, this will also be username, just like this. I think that's all. So let's go back and refresh the page, try to log in. I have John at, so this is going to be what do you call it, this is not email again, it's going to be password, username. So I'm going to type the username for this, which is John, and then type the password, which is lowercase John, and boom, so we're able to log in. Now you can see that it's returning us to this create account page. So it means that this person has been actually logged in. Now let's get to know if this is actually true. Now, how do you know the user that's currently logged in? We are going to go back to this. Let's go to this login page. And on the login page, you need to put this at the top here. Let's just do H1 and then double curly brace to open, double curly brace to close, and in between you can add a kind of a logic. You can add Python logic here. And what do we do? Request dot user. This request dot user is going to give us the user that is currently logged in. So I think the page we are currently is the create account page. So let's open that page and quickly add that sign up page. I can place this one here. Let's put it here. So now let's be sure that we are actually logged in. I use H1 so that I can see this white thing. The color can be white, and boom, you can see that John is the one logged here. If I go to this page too, I can see this person here. So it means that our login logic is actually working. So this is a line for logic, the logic that actually has allowed us to log in here. So what we did is that if request.method is equal to post, we are going to grab the username that we are passing through the form and set that equals to the username inside the user model, and then password in the user model is going to be set equal to the password from the form, and then we are going to call this auth from line 2, and from this line 2 we are going to do user equals to auth. We are setting this user as our variable. You can actually call it something else, maybe my user. Let's see if that will work. So my user, you can also call this one okay, so that's my user. So anywhere we have that user, we are just changing all the variables. So what do we do now? I want to log in someone else. So let's go. This is the login page. But someone is already logged in. Let me see. Okay, good. We can see now that the admin has been able to log in again. Now is the admin. So it means that it doesn't matter what you use for this. So just know that whatever you use, be consistent with it and set it equal to whatever value you are going to set it equal to. But I will leave it at user. So I think that's okay. So we have been able to create our logic for logging in. Now the next thing we need to do is we are going to create a dashboard where this particular user or any user that logs in will be able to go to, instead of returning to the create account page. So we're going to create another file inside the templates here, and we're going to set it, or we're going to call it dashboard.html, right, like this. So this is where we are going to log our user in. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy the CSS file. Let's do this. Okay, so I'm going to call this dashboard, and then I will copy the CSS file here just to display the same thing. Okay, here. Now with time we are going to properly have a common CSS file for all of this. But there's a way Django does things, not like the traditional way HTML does it. So let's go back to the dashboard page. I can close this sign up and the index page. So here I'm going to paste the style here. So now we have this dashboard, but let me try. We're going to get an error if I try to load this page dashboard. So you can see now, because we need to define the URL path for this particular page as well. But what do I do? Let's just do h1 here, and let's just welcome the user. Welcome. And then we are going to pass the user that is currently logged in. Don't forget, double curly brace to open, double curly brace to close. That's how you actually add logic Python code, that is Python logic for your HTML inside your HTML code. So we're going to do request dot user. So this request dot user will allow us to see the user that is currently logged in. So now we need to head straight back to our urls.py. So this is our urls.py, and then we have to create a pattern URL path for this. So path, and then we're going to call it dashboard. Okay, from this dashboard, then we set the equal to views dashboard, and then we're going to give it a name and set that name also to dashboard, like this. Now, if that is done, one more thing to do. We have actually created the path. We have actually okay, we have not created the logic yet. We only created the HTML templates and then the URL. We need to go back to views and actually design create the logic, because right here it's telling us that the model wizard of view has no attributes dashboard. So we need to set up the dashboard view. That's why it's actually displaying this particular error here. So we don't have that particular view. We don't have that function yet. So we need to create the function right here. So I'm going to now create dev for function, and then dashboard. I'll pass my request. Okay, my request. And down here we are going to return the render. So let's render the page requests, and then dashboard .html. So now we can actually return that page. So everything is set up. We have created the dashboard page, which is dashboard.html. We have actually created a path in our urls.py, And then we have actually created the function that will trigger that page to be returned. So let's go back. Now you can see that we have that page returned. But what we need to do is that we don't want users to come here and type this into the URL. We want users to be able to log in, and it should pass them to that particular URL. Now I want to log out this particular user. Okay, we can only do that using the admin page. So I just say admin right here. Now we can only do that here. We have a logout section here. If I click, then this user is going to be logged out. The moment I actually refresh, then we need to, you will discover that we're going to see something else here. It's going to be anonymous user. So you can see it's anonymous user because we have already logged out this admin. And what this means is that it's not actually, it doesn't know who is currently logged in because there's nobody who's logged in at this moment. Now, one other thing is that if I run this /dashboard page, it's still going to get to this page. But we are going to correct this. If you are not logged in, you cannot come here. So we are going to actually create that logic to do that. But first, so far nobody is logged in here. We want to go back to that views and want to go back to that index page, that logic for index. This is the one that enables us to sign in. And once we sign in, instead of returning to sign up page, it's going to return us to that dashboard page. So that's what we want to do. So now that's the only thing we need for us to be able to log in and get to that dashboard page. So let's log in the admin, and boom, you can see now that we are inside the dashboard page. So that's exactly what we have done now. So we have been able to sign in this particular user, and I think I can remove this line. I don't think we need that, but no problem, you can still leave it. So this is the logic that actually logged in this user and returned the user to that dashboard. This is that particular logic here. So having said that, there's something that we need to do. There is no way we can log out this particular user. You can see if I refresh this page, I'm seeing the admin. If I go to sign up page, I'm seeing the admin. So we need to create a way to log out this particular user. Don't forget that we have already imported this logout, and then we also have login, we have logout. So we need to create a path for our logout. So we need to go back to our urls.py and create a logout path. So let me do that after this sign up. Okay. Should I do that after? Anyway, you can place it. So let's do path. And here we're going to do logout. Okay. And after logout, we are going to return views dot logout, and we can send the name is actually equals to logout as well. You can give it any name, actually that doesn't matter. So now we have the views for, we have the path for logout. We need to design the views for logout, and that's very simple. So let me do that anywhere, but probably let me do it after this sign in page. This is where we are signing in. So let me just do logout here, dev logout. We're going to pass a request, and after the request, down here is very simple. It's very simple down here. So alright, so dev logout, and this is actually simple. Just need to do auth.logout, and then we pass a request just like this, and once we do this, this user will be logged out automatically. But we need to return the user somewhere, so we are going to return redirect, and we are directing the user back to the index page. So index, That's where we are directing the user to, so that the user can sign up. But now when we go to our page here, anywhere, probably dashboard, let's go to dashboard. So in this dashboard, you can see there's nowhere we can actually log out. So I'm going to actually go back to dashboard and create a link for us to log out temporarily. Let's just do a href, a link like this, and I'm going to set this equal to logout page. Yes, so you're going to be logout, and inside here just put logout. So the moment we click, and it's going to direct us to this logout page, and that's going to trigger this particular function and log out this user and automatically send the user back to the sign-in page. Okay, that being said, let's try that out. I'm going to refresh. Now I have this logout, and if I click that, boom, you can see that it has returned us back to the sign-in page. Now that that is working, I think I need to remove this anonymous. So that will only be in the dashboard. Let's return this from remove this from the sign-in page. Okay, let's go to the index page. Remove this. Go to sign up page and also remove this. So now let's go. Great. So now let's log in, and now we are in the dashboard. Let's log out and we are back here. So this is so simple, I guess. This is all that we have been able to do to actually log in and log out the user. So all right, from this lesson we have been able to see how to create how to log in user, and also how we can actually log out user. And from here, this is actually the code that logged the user in. So right here, and down here we also have a code. The code, this is a logic that actually log out the user, and those are the two things that we actually, the logic we created. This is the dashboard that we actually log the user into, and this is actually the dashboard. We just created this logout to be able to log out this user, and that's all. So thank you. You can leave a comment or give us a like and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next class.